We have some technical problems. Here we go. Hi, everybody. Okay. Welcome to the Notary e-meetup, practicing safe notarization during the pandemic. My name is Bill Soroka, founder of NotaryCoach.com. We're excited to have you here. For those on the call, I've already prepped you that this is a casual learning environment. I encourage you to keep yourself on mute until you're actively engaged with the conversation, but please utilize the chat window as well to engage in conversation. Also, you can raise your hand when you want to contribute if you have something or a strategy to share as well. Now, let me turn over the entire thing to our host, Laura Buer, founder of Coach Me Laura Buer, or CoachMeLaura.com. Thank you.
What a morning.
It's still early, too early. 8 o'clock in the morning was too early. Whose idea was that, Laura?
Whose idea was that? 8 a.m. Oh my God. Okay, so good morning, everybody. Glad that you could join us now. And for those of you who couldn't join us because it was just too early for you, I'm glad you're watching the recording. So today, well, first of all, let's remind people what e-meetups are about. You know, before the pandemic, meetups were starting to gain a lot of speed. And this is where you would meet in your own community with local notaries who would get together and talk about issues, concerns, strategies that impacted your business. And it was a way for you to collaborate with each other at a local level. And so I've been doing that since about 2009. So for about 11 years, long before even Meetup was a thing. And you don't have to have a Meetup.com group. You can just have your own informal group. And so I hope that when we are back into a situation where we're able to safely meet in groups together, that people will consider doing this kind of thing. So I thought, what a great, you know, here's the deal. Anytime there is adversity, there's going to be a seed of something equal or greater value that comes. You just have to look for it. And so I thought, you know, what if I did an e-meetup? Not only would I grab the 15 or 20 people I normally work with, but how about everybody else that's too far to drive, or they just couldn't get to me because they're in other states. I have people in my meetup group, the group itself, who are in other states. Now they're never going to get to my meetup. Their hope is, you know, that I might post something as a result, but that's not what meetup's about. It's really about getting together and talking face-to-face. So this was a great way for us to have a face-to-face forum to talk about important concerns that we might have, or new strategies or tips that we might have, so that we can work together as teammates rather than competition. So that's where it comes from. The other thing is I want to make sure this particular issue, usually it's not a big deal, but today I want to make sure I express it. And that is, this is not about politics. This is not about why we are where we are, how we got to where we are, whose fault it is where we are. All that matters to me is it happened and how did we respond to the moment. As notaries, the public relies on us, and we needed to respond to what's happening. And I think we've done a pretty darn good job of doing it. We've gotten very creative, and we're going to talk about those things. So, you know, when we started out with the pandemic, it started out, the first blockade was, okay, stay at home if you're in California and some other states, unless you're an essential worker, right? Only essential people can be out there. And at first, nobody knew if we were essential or not. It didn't take long before they figured out we were. So that's where we started with, oh my gosh, we have been defined as an essential worker. We need to find a way to get out there and help people. The thing is a few notaries, you know, stepped up and said, okay, and got out there and were continuing to work. And this is before we really identified what all the right PPEs are for us, you know, the personal protection equipment. We knew what they were for hospitals, right? But it wasn't quite as clear for us. Yeah, let's have a mask. Do we have gloves? Do we not have gloves? What kind of mask should we have? We should, you know, sanitize our hands. And of course, physical distancing. Although that brought some craziness to our process because, you know, hey, your client is 6 feet away. So how do you carefully navigate these documents when they're so far away from you, when you're right on top of them and they can't follow your instructions? So all of these, but you know, Notary started becoming creative. And that's what I love about the people that I work with. And my community is like the whole United States. So I continue to get great ideas from other notaries, what they have done to overcome obstacles to working safe, keeping themselves safe, and keeping their clients safe. And those were in areas of venues. Certain venues just became off limits. And you guys know my venues, hospitals, skilled nursing, and jails. Yeah, all of that went away, and it's not back. So, you know, it's like, well, what do I do if I can't do that? And if you've ever heard me before, you've heard me say you cannot be a one-trick pony. So if that was the only business I could get, I'd be out of business today. But because I have other forms of business, including loan signings, I just maximized where I was still allowed to work. And that was kind of the first step, is you needed to decide, where do you feel safe working? Some places did not close off hospitals and skilled nursing because it wasn't an issue in their state yet. So you had to decide, where do I feel comfortable and safe going into environments? The other thing you needed to be thinking about were, you know, what are all the tools that I should have? And some of them were just as simple as a health screening, verbally exchanging back and forth with your clients. You know, have you been ill, or anybody in your household been ill? Have you been exposed to anybody ill? Because, you know, there was this self-quarantining going on, and you don't want to go to somebody's house where one of the clients is ill. And we know that's happened. Even trying to do that, that has still happened, although I think very few cases. And then we've got our physical tools, and I'm not going to be the only one that's going to share them. And I want you to know that anything that gets shared today, that isn't something you can just get at Costco. We will have on the outgoing recording, Bill has a Word document with all the links that one of our own, Kim Flanagan, put together for us. And she also has a PowerPoint. She's going to show you what they look like. Some of the different kinds of tools notaries could be using. And the costs are from very inexpensive to pretty expensive. It just depends on how much you want to invest into the safety part of your job. I'm going to share just a couple things that I did that one is California specific, and that is I added alcohol prep pads to my set of tools, to my PPE bag, so that I could sanitize. And those would be the things like diabetics would use before they do an injection in their arm. And so I'd use those little pads, you open them up, and I'd use them to sanitize the bottom of their thumb before they put it in my thumb printer, right? Because everybody's thumb, and you know what? Even when the pandemic's gone, I will not change that process. I don't know why I really didn't think about that prior, but everybody's thumb goes in that thumb printer. And we didn't sanitize thumbs in between printing. But you know what? It's a dang good idea, and I'm still going to maintain that process even later. Now, I get those alcohol prep pads at Costco or at CVS or Walgreens, any one of those that sell diabetic supplies. You can get a box of like 200. They're very inexpensive. Now, I saw somebody commented about the single-use thumbprint strips. I have those. I don't like them. If you like them, hooray, use them. That's great. They wanted to come up with an idea that would be helpful to you. So if you got them and you like them, I say go ahead and use them. I was not happy with how they stored. I was not happy with how they worked. So that's why I use the alcohol prep pads. And by the way, my alcohol prep pads have more than one purpose. It's not just the thumb. I don't like the giveaway pens, cheapo pens, and use their own pens because their pens are crap. Their pens in the drawer run out of ink, they skip, they drag. They're horrible. They're purple, right? They're not the right colors. So I use my good pen still, but I use one of those prep pads, and I alcohol sanitize my pens before I hand it to them, and then I alcohol prep them back before I put them in my bag. So I sanitize those to make sure. So I'm still using my good pens. If you're using the throwaway pens, hey, great. I just didn't feel like I wanted to buy a bunch of those and give those away. I'd rather use my good pens. And then the other thing is that I have to remember my tools are not just the mask and the hand sanitizer. I wear glasses that get dirty. They needed to be sanitized. I have a phone that gets dirty. it needs to be sanitized. Everything, my journal on the outside needs to be sanitized. So there are a lot of other, my stamp casing on the outside needs to be sanitized. So all of these things that I'm touching, because remember, I might be touching their ID. Now, some of you have other ideas. You put it in a baggie. There's lots of ways to go about this, and you're going to hear other ways to do this. Mine is not the only way. This is just how I got my hands around it. My mask, I have the ones, you know, the cute ones that were homemade ones when masks were hard to get. Now they're cheap at Costco. You can get 50 for $15. You can get them at Big Lots for about $19 instead of 50. So you can get those disposable ones pretty easily. Although I like the ones that are handmade. They're just so heavy and hot. And we've been triple digits for a couple weeks here. And it's just too hot for me. I need to use the disposable ones. And of course, the other things that we got creative with would be our venues. Where am I doing the signing? It's in the garage. It's in the back patio. It's on the front porch. It's on the hood of my car. I don't like that, so I carry a table and chair in my car. I have done them in the home with, if they have a large kitchen with a big enough table for me to work with, I'll go in their home, not a problem. I recently, you're not gonna believe this, but he was an older guy, and I guess it was the den got made into a makeshift room for him because he couldn't go upstairs anymore. And, you know, he's having different issues, although none of them that would be contagious to me. And he needed to have a healthcare directive notarized, and he did it from his in-room or in-house commode chair. I mean, he wasn't just sitting on it with the lid down. I mean, it was in use. Yeah, that's probably the, you know, and I was like, are you sure you don't want me to like wait or come back later? No, I'm gonna be here a while. And he had just had, you know, a little thing draped over his lap. So, hey, you know, you do what you got to do, you figure it out. You better believe I sanitized everything I own when I left there. So those are just a few of the creative places that we do them. And you may have other stories about some of your creative places. And finally, process. Now, this process works for loan signings, particularly. I heard that loan signing agents were afraid. They didn't know how they were going to make it. People don't follow their instructions and they're practically on top of them. So how are they possibly going to do it right when I'm 6 feet away from them? So I took loan signings for the purpose of figuring out how to make this work. And I found a process that not only made it work, but it's faster. I'm 10 minutes faster than I was before. And that's another process I won't change. And that's where I use that second, instead of putting that second set away in case they make a mistake, I use it as my navigating tool. They're at one end of the table, I'm at the other end of the table, and I say, okay, our documents are in the exact same order. What you see on top is your blank. Down at the bottom on the left-hand side, that's where you're gonna sign and date. And then we go to the next one. This is your note. See right here, it says, here's how much you're borrowing, here's your percentage, your interest rate, here's when your first payment starts. If we go to page 3, that's where you're going to sign, no date. And I flip my pages as they flip their pages. And what am I doing while they're busy, you know, trying to get to the right place to sign? I am filling out my journal, because that takes forever. If you're in California, I got to do everything. So I am able to complete every single entry. And yes, I get up to 18, 20 of them. I'm able to do all of them, complete my journal. And what I do with the certificates is, if the certificate's on a separate page, I fill it out and I swap the page. If the certificate's on the same page as the signature, I say, don't worry about it. I'll do it at the end when I do my QA. All right. And you know what? Not only am I doing a better job at getting all my work done, I'm doing it faster and I'm doing it safely. So that was one of the major changes that I made. Now, those were some of the things I wanted to say to get the ball rolling. What I'd like to do is, I want to see what's going on in the chat as well. Bill, are there any questions that came up while I was talking?
Not necessarily questions, really great feedback in the chat window though, people sharing kind of what they're doing. Nina talked about having a UV box. I'm still reeling after your story. You got to give me some sort of warning for that. I should have read your script ahead of time.
Oh man.
Not prepared for toilet
Sanitize. E-word.
I love the idea of the UV box. I've seen some research on the power of the UV light in disinfecting, so that's pretty cool. How we do have somebody with their hand up though, Laura. Can we?
Oh, yeah.
Can we go to them?
Let's go to hand up.
It's the A1 Mob. I don't know who that is, but A1 Mob, your hand is up. If you'd like to unmute, what's going on?
Hey, see, I didn't change my name. Sorry. This is Stephanie Newman. I just wanted to share a little experience that I had when all this first came out. I had to shut down, stay home for 6 weeks. I felt like is what I needed to do because I have a lung disease. And, but as things continued, and I'm in Louisiana, our numbers are still at the very top of everything going on in the United States. However, you know, we still got to put food on the table. So I had to start putting some things in place and, you know, where I felt comfortable. And I've done a couple things. Some things I've felt like work better than others. I do send a little text out to my customers in addition to speaking with them when I make the appointment and say, hey guys, I just really need to ask that everyone please wear a mask when I meet with you. In Louisiana, we currently have a state mandate that everyone must wear a mask in public if you're within 6 feet, but there is like an exemption if you have a medical reason not to or whatever. But I even say, even if you have an exemption because of my health condition, I do have to require this. I've had 2 cases where I got to the appointment and one guy just totally flipped the lid. It's ridiculous. He's not doing this, you know, blah, blah, blah. And his wife just straightened him out and said, I told you you were doing this, do it. And the other guy he was just one of these, you know, you're not controlling me. You're not telling me what I'm going to do. I'll do it over here and blah, blah, blah. And I had to think for a minute and really calm myself because this could have been a real confrontation with him. But I said, sir, I understand they're very uncomfortable. I understand it's not something you want to do. If I could just explain to you the reason I'm requesting for you to do it in my particular situation, all I ask is while you have the documents with my clipboard in your hand, if you will put this on so that there's no possible chance that if you would have the virus, that it would get on the documents that I would receive. Because I do have, you know, a lung disease that literally, if I get this, it will probably kill me. I was in the hospital 2 years ago for 2 weeks with something in my lungs, and we didn't even know what it was. It was well before Corona. And I said, I would just greatly appreciate that if you would consider doing that for me. And he said, I'll do that. And it just really, I think, presenting it in a please help me fashion instead of a I'm demanding this, you must do this fashion, you know, has helped me a lot because it's been a real struggle for me with the health condition, but we still gotta make a living. We can't put ourselves in a box, you know. So I just wanted to share that.
Stephanie, I'm so glad you did because I think that's such a key element that sometimes gets missing is personalizing it. Like it's really, here's what's going on with me and that's why I'm requesting it. I love that. Laura, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. First of all, I'm in the age range. First of all, it's 60. Second of all, I have asthma. So I've got, you know, double things going on. And I have had some customers balk at, it's in my own home. I only have to do that outside. And when I say, you know what, I'm 60, I have asthma. I'm asking you to protect me. I wear this to protect you. It doesn't help me. Would you please help me help you? And as soon as I do that, they're done. They're like, okay, fine.
I love that. Can we have a question from Leonard. He just messaged this over to me. He says, okay, can we address what if somebody just says, nope, I am not wearing a mask even after you do it? What are the options a notary has?
You can refuse to sign. You can just refuse the appointment and say, I'll call them and I'll let them know you need a different notary. My health, and not just health, but my life is worth more than that appointment. And if that's how they're going to, and I'm going to explain to the signing company why, that I was already there, that they refused to wear the mask to help me, so that they know before they send the next notary that that guy doesn't want to wear a mask. Another option could be, do you want to do it outside? You know, if you feel like that's comfortable enough to have the outdoor air. It may not be for some of us. That still may not be enough.
Well, it's definitely not comfortable here in Phoenix. And I love that in the chat window, there's a lot of people talking about bug bites, because that's, you know, that's something that not everybody has to worry about, but it is a big deal. And I love the suggestions that are coming up in there. And then
if you guys have used that Skin So Soft, Avon,
yep.
It repels mosquitoes and you don't smell like DEET. I love it. Yep. No problem.
Yeah, excellent. We've got several other questions. Laura, are you okay if we
yep.
go down the list? All right, wonderful. Thanks for participating, guys. Kent, you are next. You want to unmute and share with us?
Sure. Let me just get on here. So I sort of have a unique aspect or perspective on this. I'm actually doing this as a sort of a part-time. I actually work in healthcare. I'm a frontline worker. I work in the ERs. I work in the urgent cares. I've already been quarantined once for exposure. I do have other risk factors, asthma, high blood pressure, things like that. But you know, it's being in the workforce and being exposed. It sort of put me at, I would say, more of an ease regarding this pandemic. Ironically, when I was quarantined, I was allowed to go to work as long as I wore surgical masks, but I couldn't go to the store. I couldn't go anywhere else, but I'm allowed to go see other patients wearing the same thing I would use outside. So I found that a little bit ironic, but you know, I take standard precautions. At work, we have to have a surgical mask. We have to have gloves. They consider that as being protected, okay? I've even been told that we have to have at least 15 minutes exposure within 6 feet to be considered at risk, which I find that ironic too. But I've been through the bird flu, I've been through Ebola, I've been through all these in my lifetime. And so I think that puts me at a little bit more ease. I do take standard precautions, like I said. I would recommend if anybody wants to go the next step, like at work, we have to wear face shields now besides the surgical mask. Those face shields that gave us are horrible. We found some on Amazon that are more of a glasses type face shield, and they fit over people that wear glasses, and I'll put that link on there. Those are wonderful. They don't fog up. They don't obscure your vision. You can work with them very comfortable. You can bring your chin down and they won't bump and dislodge. And they don't put that pressure with that foam and that strap on your hair. Very easy to take on and off. And I would highly recommend, if anybody wants to go the option of the face shield, that they would get these. Pretty much all the healthcare workers where I work are going to that. But I do offer outside. I have a Colorado pickup truck with a hard back flip top. So my pickup truck back actually works as a perfect table for people. I've actually met people outside in a restaurant parking lot and done notarizations using the back of the pickup. I've also bought a table, like was mentioned, from Big Lots for $34. It's a little 4-foot table that folds up. But yeah, there's another thing that it's totally anecdotal that I highly recommend. I get no endorsement fees, nothing from this, but I take a product every day, and I don't know if you can see it. It's called ZipFizz. It's a water-soluble multivitamin. And what's great about water-soluble multivitamins is they don't go through your intestinal tract in the same form and come out the other end as a tablet. These get absorbed much faster, much easier. Since I've been using it, I've never had a sick day. And I go through the flu season, I get coughed in the face, and I get everything through the flu seasons. And this has been something that I just can't, although it's totally anecdotal, I can't deny that this has probably had some help in keeping me healthy. You know, plus when you're exposed over time, your immune system's running at a little bit higher level, I think, than somebody who's not exposed every day. But I think, you know, I wore a mask today, and when I did a signing just before this, and the signer actually told me I could take the mask off if I want. I just told him it's company policy that we wear the mask in anybody's house, and he was fine with that. So I think most people are going to be fine. If you wear the mask, you're protecting others, and you're also protecting yourself.
Excellent, Ken. Thank you so much. And you brought up lots of good points there. Thank you for sharing that. And I love that you brought up the nutritional component too, and the vitamins too, because that's something we oftentimes forget about. We're so focused on gloves and masks and shields that we forget that we've got to keep our immune system up as well. Thanks a lot, Ken. I appreciate that.
No
Patricia,
problem.
I'm sorry.
Bill,
Yeah.
before we go to another question, hand raised, we do have one of our attendees who pulled together a PowerPoint of pictures of these different kinds of tools. Kim, I would like Kim to come on, Kim Flanagan. And I saw this already, but she did update it, Bill, so I don't have the most current at the moment. She just sent it before we started this call. So
She's
Kim,
got it.
you're gonna have to share it.
Yeah, she's going to share her screen.
Hello. I'm
Hello.
going to try this. I haven't done this before, so I've got my PowerPoint now. I don't know how to share.
I'll
Okay,
walk you
so-
through it. Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, I
Go
see.
ahead.
Share
Walk
screen.
her through.
there you go.
Share
And that will let you
screen.
choose your window.
There we go. Okay. Let's see. From the beginning.
There we go.
And then you just
Let's
select
see.
from the beginning.
There we go.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. So tools to consider. These are just things that I've come across that make me feel a little bit more safe. I'm not an expert in any of this. I sure appreciate the input that the rest of you have given today. It's been terrific. So I'm just going to start in. I'm posting this. This is Who Needs to Quarantine. This was from the cdc.gov website back in July. And I actually got this from a notary Facebook group. And it was because one of the notaries had said, and I'm paraphrasing, but it was like, you know, I'm out for right now. This is the second time in 2 months that I've had to quarantine per the CDC guidelines. And what I was looking at is I realized I've got a responsibility to be safe for myself, for my family, for our signers. But I also want to see if I can avoid quarantining at all. And I'm looking at here, what they're requiring or what counts as close contact is if we're within 6 feet of somebody for at least 15 minutes. That's something that I can control. And that's something that makes me feel better if I go, you know what, I'm going to make a conscious effort to be more than 6 feet away so that if I find out that somebody that I've assisted tests positive, I can avoid the quarantine. That's my understanding anyway. So I'm opting to stay as far away as I can and still do the job, but at least 6 feet away. So I'm going to show you one more slide. This is pretty disgusting. This was from the World Economic Forum, and I have a link to this that I'll provide too. There's actually a video that they posted on here about a Japanese experiment that was done, and they used lasers to track the microparticles that come out when somebody sneezes. And I froze this particular scene. This was, so when somebody sneezes, there's different size particles that come out. And the larger droplets can fall to the ground in gravity, but these micro droplets are capable of spreading viruses. Now, I don't know at this point if COVID's included. It seems to be because it was part of this World Economic Forum. But they're showing here 20 minutes after this guy sneezed, these tiny micro droplets are still hanging in the air. They're so tiny and so light that they just suspend in the air. They can't move on their own. So they depend on the air currents. And that's why outdoor signing is really a great idea, at least for me. When I see this, one of the things that they showed in the video is when you open the window, the micro droplets quickly get swept away. They're so light that they really travel right through the air. So they recommended actually 2 open windows for the better ventilation. But this made me feel really strongly that if I had the choice, I really would prefer doing outdoor signings. And if I have indoor signings, I'm going to take some extra precautions. So now we'll go start with some of the things that I've been able to find that make me feel a little bit better, and I'd be glad to share them with you. This is a portable folding table that I'm going to use for both indoor and outdoor signings. What I love about it is it folds down to about the size of your dishwasher door. You think a standard dishwasher is 24 inches wide. This is a 48-inch table, a nice comfortable width for me to work on, that very easily folds down into the size of about a dishwasher door. It weighs less than 12 pounds. It has a really nice quality double handle on here. It also, this particular brand also comes with 4 hooks, and there's some holes in the side here that you can put a hook and hang your purse or a water bag or a supply bag or something else. But this does give me a large surface that I can comfortably set up my loan documents and any of my purse, anything else that I want to bring. And I plan on using this again, both indoors and outdoors. It's easy to set up. I would do a test on it before you take it out to the customer the first time. I find that if I lay it down with the tabletop on the ground, I can really quickly and easily pop open the legs. They are adjustable in height. You can just pull on this handle when it's upside down. It comes to the height that you want. It kind of works like a walker. If anybody's had experience with that adjusting, that's kind of what that mechanism reminds me of. So it just, you do the height that you want, you straighten this out, and there's a little hook on both sides here, and it keeps it stable. And it's easy to take apart and put back together the same way. If you turn it on, put the top on the floor right now, that's what I'm doing. For me, it's easy. And I'm not worried about the surface getting dirty because I'm going to be cleaning the surface before I set anything on it anyway. So this I found in, I'm seeing our pictures here. I don't know if you can see in the corner, the source of this was Amazon. And I do have the link for this one. This was $69.99. One of the things that I've discovered through researching different products, I'm amazed at how many knockoffs there are out there. I'm shocked at how many products use the same pictures when they're advertising on Amazon. I've purchased, like I had purchased what I thought was the same table originally. It had a black top on it, and the box was punctured during shipping, and the top was a little bit damaged. And I was thinking afterwards, they were in the process of exchanging it, and I was thinking, you know, I'm in the desert, and having a black top out in the sun may not be the best idea for me. And I saw this one that was kind of white and gray. So I thought, you know what, let me try this one instead. I think it's going to work out better. I thought it was the same table. And when this one arrived, I actually like it better than the other one. And again, I thought it was the same. But the handles are more substantial, and I like it a little bit better. The black one would have been fine, but I was just really surprised to see that there was a difference. So this is the 48 by 24. And the next slide, these are other sizes that this manufacturer makes. This one is made by a company called Red Swing. And I put this because if somebody wants a different size, you can see that the weight might be a factor for you. This is the one, the 11.7 pounds, that's the one that I've gotten, but you can see they do come in different sizes that might suit you better. This is another thing that I use. I've actually done this before the pandemic. And I think that I got this idea from Carol Ray from Notary to Pro, where she had taken, I think her husband had created these little tent cards that I call them cheat sheets, that whenever I start a signing, I give the signers each a little tent card. They're just folded note cards. And I have them write the date, and I have them sign their name as it is on the documents, how they're expected to sign, and do their initials. And I just set it right in front of them. It sits in front of them the entire time. Now, one of the things that I like about this is I can compare their signatures with their IDs right away before they start signing. And I just find that it comes in handy. Sometimes they forget what the date is, or their signatures. And with me being socially distanced now, it's going to be a little bit tougher for me to spot as they sign. So I think if this is in front of them, it comes in handy. Now, these particular note cards, you do not have to use anything this fancy. I had purchased these from Vistaprint a couple of years ago, and they have my logo on them. I love them. I can use them for thank you notes, and I can use them for these signature cards. At the time, they must have been on sale, and I got a terrific deal. I got 1,000 of them for $200, so they were 20 cents a piece. But when I went on Vistaprint recently, I'm not finding the exact same one, and the closest I could come was $700 for 1,000. It is not necessary to have your logo on it. It's not necessary to have anything pretty. They're not going to see it anyway. You just want something where they can see their name. That being said, I do have discount codes for Vistaprint at the bottom here that I've used in the past. So if there's other things that you're ordering from Vistaprint, you might want to try either of these codes, your20 or save20 for 20% off. I can't guarantee it's going to work, but it has worked for me in the past. So if we can't find something like this, I did go on Amazon and I found something that I think would work quite well. These were $14.99 for 100. I have no experience with this manufacturer, Ohuhu. They have pretty good ratings, not fantastic. By the way, I always pay attention to the ratings. I read the customer reviews. I can learn a lot from the customer reviews. Some are, if I see something that's just there's no way I'm going to get this, or sometimes I'll read a complaint and it'll be, you know what, I can handle that, or that's kind of unusual. So for this, they're just blank cards. I look and it's a really decent weight, 90-pound cardstock, so I think that's going to stand up pretty well if it's standing in front of somebody. You're going to get extra envelopes you may or may not use, but I think it's a good thing to you could try it. $14.99 for 100 is only 15 cents each. So that would be a suggestion. Okay, next we have hand sanitizers. So these are, you can Google custom hand sanitizer or customized hand sanitizers, and there's a lot of different companies out there. I found this particular one, handsanitizerstore.com. And what I liked about these is these are really small. They're half-ounce hand sanitizers that you can personalize. I was concerned at the beginning that they may be too small, and I'm not sure if you can see, I'm seeing our faces on the side. I don't know if you can see the ruler or not, or you could see next to my business card. They're smaller than a business card. They're not very big at all. What I liked was that I can clearly see my logo. I can clearly see the phone number on a teeny tiny bottle with only a half-ounce. You don't have to spend the extra money getting a 1 ounce, 1.5 ounce, or 2 ounce size for your hand sanitizer bottles. These are really adorable. They're easy to carry. They fit in your purse easy. They fit in a drawer easy. And there's something about it. I've got to tell you, anybody I've given them to, they get super excited about them. I will say they're a basic hand sanitizer. I'm not thrilled with it. It's not my favorite. It's not my least favorite. The hand sanitizer in here, it is a little sticky. You know how some of them are a little bit tacky, and this is a little bit sticky. But it's such a small volume. If you wanted to, you could put in your favorite. Wait till you finish this, or put in your favorite hand sanitizer. Now, I'm using these for a couple of purposes. One is for marketing to attorneys, if I'm going to approach them for trust signings, or for escrow officers, loan officers, that kind of thing. And it's very current. I mean, it's something that's in demand right now. These can be back ordered. When I ordered mine, it was back ordered, and I think it was just about a 2-week wait, so it wasn't really horrendous. I ordered 250, and the total was $245, so they're just under $1 a piece. There is a minimum quantity order of 140 with this company, and I did include the model number because they have a lot of different ones. This has a really nice little snap top on it, a little pop top, and they're really cute. Everybody seems to like these. I do give these to the signers as well. If they don't have their own hand sanitizers, I can just have it as a nice little perk. It's an option that they can use that at the table if they want as well. This is from the website for Hand Sanitizer Store, and it shows, sorry, getting a little ahead of myself here. It shows the different discounts for the different quantity options. And this is another, somebody else's logo, so you can see on there that it works nicely. I actually had them add something too. I had my, let me go back. I had my logo made, but it didn't include the phone number. So when I placed my order, I requested, I asked them if they could add the phone number at the bottom, and they did, and it turned out really nicely. The next thing I wanted to talk about, this is a really cool portable folding stool that I found if I'm doing outdoor signings. This is a big, big, big warning of the knockoffs, guys. I originally got this idea from a Facebook ad that popped up. And I went back eventually and looked at the website and started reading the reviews again. I like it when somebody has a lot of 5-star reviews, but I also like it when they don't. I like to see what people didn't like about it. And what I discovered on one of the products that I almost bought, one of the customers was livid. She had purchased these before. They were a much better quality. The ones that she bought from this company collapsed. She wasn't happy at all. She just went on and on and on about it. And I thought, ooh, there's more out there. So I Googled it. I actually went on Amazon, and let me tell you, there's a ton of them. And when I tell you they're sharing the same pictures, a lot of them are sharing the same pictures, and the quality isn't always the same. So this one I found, and it's the only one that I found that includes a cushion seat. And the reviews with the cushion seat were really good too, and it was really comfortable. This particular brand is very stable. I was shocked at how stable it was. It is not designed to tilt in. If you're somebody that tilts in your chair, this is not a good thing for you. But if you're someone that can sit still, it's a really great little stool to carry. It's very lightweight. It's about 3 pounds. It collapses to about the size of a Frisbee. If you don't use the cushion, there's a little shoulder strap that you can put it on your shoulder and carry it. If you do use the cushion, that comes with a backpack. So I'm going to show you that. It does, just looking here, it does have a maximum of 350 pounds for the safety on it. And it does come in red, blue, or black with a cushion. And I do recommend this brand, Comfy Time, COMFITIME. It is the only one that I saw that has the cushion. They had very good reviews. And this next page shows some of the things that are different about it. They do use high quality material from Germany. I did see on some of these that they were advertising the 2020 versions. So some of the knockoffs have done something a little bit different. Where I've noticed a difference is the detail here on how they interlock. The lower quality ones look similar, but they're really not the same. So you can try whichever ones you want, but I'll just let you know this particular brand I've been very happy with. And frankly, I don't think the cost is any different between the knockoffs and the good one. So this was $39.95, and I got this one on Amazon. This I got from another notary. This was from one of the Facebook notary groups. And this is a really cool little inexpensive, it's $8.99. It's a little valet tray that you can snap together really easy. It comes completely flat, so it can fit in your briefcase or anything very, very easily. You can snap it together at the corners. This one, there's a divider. So there's a large section on one side, smaller on the other. I'm putting my IDs, signer IDs on one side, and I'm putting my stamps and all my tools on the other. And it's just a really neat little thing to keep everything in order and close by so it's not scattered and it's easy to find. And this is what it kind of looks like. So I've got an ID and a baggie on one side that's there with me the whole time. I've got my pen. I have a date stamp. I have a UV black light for ID verification. I have an acknowledgement stamp here, my notary stamp, some alcohol wipes, my little mini hand sanitizer, a thumb printer, And this is just a cloth for me to wipe down the surface with. So you can see it accommodates a lot. And I think you could probably put your phone maybe on the side, on this side, or take the one of the snaps off. So I really like it for just keeping things together. And this is from Amazon, and it was from Luxspire store. They come in different colors. This particular color isn't available right now, but they have some other options that are really kind of neat. Face shield. So thank you, Kent, for filling us in on face shields. And this is one that I found, if anybody's interested in, I had ordered several of them. And some were really flimsy, some were uncomfortable. My problem was I wear glasses, and I didn't want my glasses fogging, and I didn't want to keep like adjusting things. And I discovered this face shield that's designed by dentists. The model is called DentalFlex. It's made by a company, 71V compliance signs. So if you end up going on their website, and I do have the links again that we'll provide, there's a section that says PPE, and you'll find the DentalFlex in that section. And what I like about them, they're very, very high quality, and they're about $40. They project 3 inches off of your face. You can see there's plenty of room here. They don't fog. You can wear your glasses. They're very, very, very well made. This is some of the detail where it extends out, but it's completely covered. There's a little shield on top, and really nice quality rubber strap on it that's very comfortably adjusted. The band is also very comfortable, and it comes with a backup shield. So you get 2 shields with it. So this can actually pop off. And some of the product specs are there, but I'm really happy with that one. I also found one that's very heavy duty. It's more like a helmet. So if anybody's interested in that, just email me and I can shoot you that information too. But this one I really, really liked. Another thing, we talk about inexpensive snack size zipper bags for your signing table. This is an example of what I give to the signers. I have a little snack bag. I put my pens that they can keep, some alcohol wipes, some hand sanitizers, and they can use one of the bags to put their IDs in and hand back to me. And it's really expensive. You can get them at any of the grocery stores. And depending on how many you get, they're about $3 to $4 for a box of those. Face masks. There are tons of face masks, and I've bought tons of face masks. Some are good, some are bad. I like this particular one for a few reasons, and I'm just sharing it with you. There's tons of them out there, but what I like about this one is it's no fog again, so I can wear my glasses. They're cotton, they're very well made. Some gal in Texas hand makes them. They're very comfortable, they're adjustable. She has a large variety of fabrics, and they're changing all the time. So from week to week, you know, she'll probably makes hundreds and then gets new batches in. So there's a lot of different fabrics available. And they run $14.95. If you want a filter pocket in it, it's $15.95. And they're really nice. I have ordered some masks. The things that I didn't like, I'm going to share with you now so you can kind of keep it in mind. Some of them are really pull on your ears. You know, they didn't fit my ears very well. There's a product on Etsy that's called an ear saver. There are different versions of them, and people have come out with them. They're little silicone strips or plastic strips that go across the back of your head, and you put the mask loop onto the ear saver instead of onto your ears being pulled. So that's an option. And I liked the silicone. There's one silicone one on Etsy that's more flexible. And if you go that route, I like that. I also purchased a scarf that, oh my gosh, I couldn't wait to get this mask because I thought it looked so great. Not only was it the mask, but when you're not using it, you unhook it and it's a really beautiful scarf that's around your neck. The downside is, I can't imagine how it's going to help you. The fabric is so light, I don't know what it's going to stop. So if you see those that look really pretty, that just be very cautious if it's the one. It was kind of a nylon-y kind of material. It didn't breathe. It was hot. Fashion-wise, it looked great, but I wasn't pleased with that one at all. So I kind of look for things that breathe. I also just purchased one from Vistaprint to see if I liked that, because you can customize those. And they're very well made, and they're lightweight. They had it kind of extended under your chin, so they were very secure. I did like them, but they weren't cotton, and for me in the desert, I didn't think they were going to breathe well enough for me. So for me, I'm not going to order those and customize them, but you can order a single one and see if that's something that you like. And again, this particular one is made by TX, like TxTropics, on Etsy. Every once in a while she sells out, but just keep looking, and as soon as she can, she pops back in and you can start ordering again. This was another item. Now, I haven't purchased this particular brand, but I have purchased others. These are touchless tools, contactless tools. There's all kinds of different names for them. But during the pandemic, especially, if you don't want to grab onto a handle or touch the keypad for your ATM, these things are really cool. They're just easy. You can put them on a keychain, and they're just really nice. They're great for marketing as well. You know, one of the things that I learned from one of the other notaries is this is a really great time to do some marketing, even if I'm not currently doing signings. It's almost 120 where I am right now. But it's almost better to be able to just walk in. You can just be super friendly. You can walk into any escrow office and say, hey, I come bearing gifts. You know, as a fellow essential worker, I'm not taking signings right now, but I'm thinking about you. Stay safe. And you can drop off something like these touchless key things, or little hand sanitizers, anything that's appropriate for COVID. And it's a nice door opener. And you follow up, of course, but it is a nice, literally, door opener. This particular brand uses copper in it, so I haven't seen others that have copper. And apparently it helps with antibacterial stuff too. Some of them, keep in mind, you're touching all this stuff, you gotta sanitize these. This one with the copper, apparently not so much. One of the things, is it this one? No, okay, so this particular company, if you buy one, it's $14. This is what's on their website, 3 for $39, 5 for $54. I did contact them, and they will give us an additional 20% off if you order the 5-pack. So it ends up being $7.84 each. In order to get that, you need to email them at contact@thesafeky. Notice there's no E, it's not SafeKy, it's thesafeky.com, and just mention a bulk discount for notaries, and they should be able to help you there. So that's an option. I did find another one here. So this one I like. Let's see. This one I like. It has a rubber stylus. Oh, by the way, the copper, this one, they say the copper also works on touch screens and things, so that works. This one I like too. It was a little bit less expensive. They have a little rubber tip on it for a stylus, and that's really cool too. So I contacted them, and they've also agreed to give us a discount. I can't see the screen because I could see our faces, but the information is off on the side, and there's more information that I'm providing to Bill that he'll post on it afterwards. This was, you know, Laura mentioned some of these are less expensive and some of them are more expensive. This is one that's more expensive. This actually I purchased at the beginning of COVID, before I really understood the outdoor signing possibilities. I'm also going to use this. I do have an option to use an office space with a conference room. So if the only place I can meet somebody is in the conference room there, I can set this up. This is really well made, folks. This is commercial quality, professional. It's all one piece. There's no assembly required. It has a really nice pass-through area. It's a very sturdy base to it. It weighs 14 pounds. What I like about it is I can carry it under my arm. I can put my hand right here at the pass-through and hold on to it and carry it under my arm. I can fit it in the back seat of my car. I prefer the outdoor signings. I'm going to be doing social distancing with my table. This may not be something that I use frequently, but if it's something that interests you, this I found to be a very, very, very nice brand, and that was from VersaTables. And I got the 48-inch because I thought if a couple was sitting across from me, the 48-inch would be better spacing than if I got the smaller size. Oh, okay, we're to disinfecting wipes. So I discovered, just a second, I discovered that I was using my disinfecting wipes wrong. And let me pull my copy here. So I was using disinfecting wipes, and I was really, really impressed. Get these at the store where it says bleach-free on it. And in my mind, I misinterpreted bleach-free. So I see bleach-free, and I'm thinking, oh, they're excited. There's not a harsh chemical in it, and so this is better than, better than bleach. Well, I've been using my hands to wipe it, and that's really not what you're supposed to do. I have also not been leaving it wet on the surface for the amount of time that's required to disinfect. So if you're using your disinfecting wipes, read the labels so you make sure that you're actually disinfecting. So it's in this particular one, you have to keep it visibly wet for 4 minutes. That's to clean it. To sanitize, you have to make sure that it stays wet, and it has to stay on for, I think, 10, 15 seconds. It's covered up. I don't remember there. And if you're using it on a surface that can come in contact with food, like my kitchen counters that I've been using these on, you have to rinse it because this is actually a pesticide. So I went on to the company, and you can click on the product, and at the bottom, you can click on a link that is the safety sheet, I think they refer to it as, the product safety sheet. And if you scroll through the safety sheets, you'll see it's an EPA pesticide. And what I had heard is that the only way that they can claim that they the only way that they can claim that they get rid of 99.9% of viruses is if it's a pesticide. So you can use them, just make sure you read the labels and you're using them properly. I know if I use them ever again, I'm going to be using a glove if I can remember to do that. So just a little note. So what happened was I got kind of concerned about the pesticide thing, and I found out about this product. This is a company from Norway. It's an alternative to chemical disinfecting. They actually have a product that you can remove 99.9% of bacteria just with water and the cloth. Now, if you're like me, I totally did not believe this. I really didn't believe it. I do have links to some demos. There's plenty of videos on YouTube with demos on how the product actually works. It works as, it's a microfiber. It's an ultra-thin blend of polyester and nylon fibers, and it's better at picking up the debris, and it traps it in this really, really dense microfiber. So a normal microfiber is 1/6 of the width of a human hair is a normal microfiber. This brand is 1/200th of a width of human hair, and it really picks up a lot. So one of the demos that made me change my mind about whether this was possible or not is a raw chicken demo, and they use black lights to show what's left over from the disinfecting wipes compared to water and this cloth, and it really blew my mind. There's some other ones that show that use swabs that they use in restaurants to see if there's contamination, and you can test for whether there's protein or not. And they did the same kind of thing. So there's plenty of demos out there that you can look at. Now, I've been using these for about 4 months, and I really, really like them. And I discovered that if I repped them, I can do a discount for you guys. So I'm now a rep. So full disclosure, if you're interested in them, you can email me. and I will give you a 15% notary discount. That has to be manually done, so it will need to be emailed. Don't go right on the website and try to order something, or I can't go back and give you a discount on it. They also have these little travel bags, and they fit really nicely in. You can use one side for your clean ones and one side for your used ones, and it doesn't transfer. So if you wipe a surface, it doesn't transfer it to another surface. So you can contact me if you want more information about it, but that is an alternative to the bleach, excuse me, they aren't bleach, to the other disinfecting wipes that use the pesticides. This product, they can't say that it removes the virus, because it's not a pesticide. There's no chemicals in it. But if you see the raw chicken demo, you can see that it's picking up the protein, and proteins are smaller than the virus. So you can kind of use your own discretion there. So if anybody has any questions, you're welcome to email me at kim@notaryally.com, or you can text me at area code 760-800-8500. Or if anybody has questions now, I'd be happy to answer for you. And now, how do
Bill,
I get back?
We have another presenter. We have some other people to share. So I think we need to move on because we're already at 9 o'clock.
I'm sorry.
Okay, yeah, so it went a little long, but I think it was good information. Bill will be sending out the links. Is your PowerPoint, are you willing to share the PowerPoint so that people, you can save it as a PDF and then send it to Bill? And then that way people can see the pictures as well.
Great, that sounds great.
I've already got it, so we'll take care of that for sure.
Thank you.
Now, Laura, would you like to break it up and ask some of the questions from some of the people that have their hands up before we get to another presenter, or how do you want to do it?
Well, no, I'd like Joyce, who's been waiting, I believe, to have an opportunity. She is not only a notary, but LifeScan agent. And she, you know, you got to touch people's hands, right? So she's done some things so that she could stay in business. And Joyce, if you're, because there's other notaries who do LifeScan work. And again, we're just wanting to share how we've had to be creative in keeping our business going. So Joyce, if you're there and you can share a few things that you did for your LifeScan business to keep going, that would be great. Are you there, Joyce?
I am. I'm unmuting now. And there I am. Can you see me?
There you are, Joyce. Thanks.
Good morning. You're welcome. I'm going to be fast because I'm at an event and I might have a customer come in. So basically when COVID struck, I shut down for about a week. And then I was trying to figure out what I can do. So we've initially installed plexiglass right at our front door. The heat came, that didn't work. We had to bring it inside. We installed the plexiglass between rooms, and we're going to keep it like that. We're happy with that. We're in a separate room from our customers. The other thing that we use is we discovered makeup brushes. We spray them with alcohol and we rub our keyboards with them because we're fingerprinting person after person after person. So once one person leaves, we spray our makeup brush with alcohol. We rub it on our keyboard, spray our mouse, and we actually only use one glove as well. We use one glove for our left hand when we're touching our customers, and we use our other hand to touch our computer because our PPE costs are really high because we have to switch our gloves with every customer. We also struggled with disinfecting our equipment because most LifeScan equipment cannot handle alcohol. It deteriorates the film on top. So we had to find something that worked, and we tested all kinds of products. And we just discovered that Clorox wipes work pretty good. We just cut them up in pieces. And we also used Walmart disinfectant spray on a microfiber cloth, and we wipe it on our screen, and then we wipe it off. The LifeScan screens, you cannot leave chemicals on them. So we have to, it has to be a quick on and quick off. What else did we do? We switched the way we fingerprint. We don't fingerprint with people on the side of us anymore. We keep them at a distance. There's a few ways we can do it. They're always in front of us. So we had to use a new technique. And we triple mask. We double mask and then a face shield because sometimes we do have to touch them. We try and let them do all the work themselves if they can, but sometimes they're not able to do that. We have to guide them. So we have to get within that 6 feet. So we're protecting our face with that. And of course, we're wearing gloves when we're touching them. And we also have to touch their ID because we have to scan it. So sometimes it won't scan, so we have to manually use a swiper, and that requires you touch it. So we're not so much, we've gotten past that where we have to touch their items. We have to touch their papers because we have to give them back to them. But we also tried portable trays because our LifeScan equipment requires us to be at a certain level. It's hard for them to fingerprint when they're tall or short. In our office, our table adjusts to their height. But out in the field, that's not possible. So we used to carry this table with us with plexiglass, nightmare. It was good in theory, but didn't work so well. We tried it. So we got these little tables from Amazon that they just flop up. We put our equipment on it, and we're keeping the distance again with all our face shields. But with LifeScan, you kind of have to get a little bit closer to them occasionally if we can't get good prints. And our Square, we don't we take payments. We have a couple choice options for them. We can text, email, of course. If they want to receive, we'll print it and let them pull it off. But we don't require them to sign. And we also allow them to invoice. Just give us your email. Email will invoice you as long as you pay within 24 hours. We'll submit your LifeScan. So that's been very popular. We get a lot of people that like, oh my gosh, I don't have a payment. I don't have this. No worries. Let me just invoice you. You pay us, we'll submit your fingerprints. But a lot of this stuff we're going to keep going with. We're not going to change it. We're going to keep the plexiglass up in our window. I like it because people bring their kids in. Oh, we eliminated one of our office rooms. We eliminated all the furniture in it. That's just where they come in, fill out their paperwork, and then they leave. We don't have any furniture in there anymore. It used to be where we were, and then now our employee area is where I am now. So I guess that's probably some of the changes that we made, and that's about it. If anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Thanks, Joyce, for sharing that. And I know some notaries who are either watching this on replay or live are doing LifeScan as well. And so they also had to come up with these creative solutions to be able to handle things in close proximity. They can't sit 6 feet away. There are aspects to their job that just require them to be right there with the signer. And I'm so glad to hear all the different things that, you know, not everything works the first time. You buy something, you think it's a great idea, and it's like, oh, it's not working. And so you might have a couple rounds before you find what works for your business or for you personally. So thank you, Joyce, for coming on. I know you're on an event, so I know you've got to go, but thank you for sharing with us. I appreciate that.
Bye.
Okay, Bill, we can go to questions. We can take a few.
Excellent. So I think Kim's presentation probably answered quite a few.
Yeah.
Because some of the hands went down. But Miranda Belthrop, your hand is still up. Would you like to unmute and share or ask or whatever you've got going on?
Yes. I have some two questions. The NNA did come out with, I was so concerned about the thumbprint. I'm a new person, a new notary out of Florida. And, you know, the thumbprint, you know, several people are going in there and they came out with these strips now. And I'm waiting on them to get here. And I didn't know if everybody knew about that because they individual use instead of everybody keep on putting their thumb in there. And then also I wanted to know, I do ask those pre-required questions about COVID, but I was wanting to implement, I'm a nurse as well. If it would be rude to implement, hey, would you be obliged to let me take your temperature before the signing?
Interesting.
There's no law, first of all, preventing you. I go to places where they do the infrared, so they don't touch me, and they take my temperature before I go in there. So I don't see any problem with, and again, it's all presentation. You know, to protect us both, are you good with me checking the temp before I go in? I've had mine done so many times. I have my own, and my husband and I both check our own in the mornings before we go out for the day. So I don't see any problem with doing that.
Okay, and then one more thing that I want to give is that along with Kent, working in the field, is that also remember that the sanitizer is not in lieu of washing your hands. And some people that's not in the medical field forget that. And that's just, it's not a substitution, is what I'm trying to say. And also with the zip fizz do work, and vitamin C, and get plenty of rest. Look at me saying yeah.
I
So
think
we all going to get plenty of rest.
I think the rest is important. It's a superpower. And I don't think people realize that how important sleep is, especially if you're carrying a long schedule. And I schedule my sleep when I have a bedtime, just like our kids have bedtimes. Mine don't have them anymore, but when my kids were young, you need to go to bed at this time. And I turn off and I don't respond to my phone, and I go to bed. Even if I don't think I'm ready to go to bed, I go to bed the same time every night. I get a minimum number of hours of sleep before I start my next day. And if I don't have an appointment, early the next day, I tend to have an early schedule. But if I don't, I still get up at about the same time every day, and I'll find other productive things to do. You guys, if you're not giving yourself enough sleep, it is right up there, or even more important than taking the vitamins. But you need to be doing that to refresh your body every day, because we are managing and taxing our bodies, our brains, even more than usual during this time. So please make sure that you have that superpower and you protect yourself and do the things that are in your control to protect yourself. Thank you for sharing that.
Oh, well, thanks for having me.
You're welcome. What did I see the question? All right, everybody's clear that they're going to get an email from Bill that will have links and the slideshow. She can go back and look at all those different interesting things that Kim presented. Bill, do we have another person with their hand up?
There are no more hands up.
Yeah, Kim, you pretty much nailed it. I think you came up with every
Thank
idea
you.
possible. So yeah, thank you very much. I know you took a lot of time and research on that. And not only that, but you got some stuff with some extra discounts for us. We always appreciate that. Oh, I knew there was more question on the chat. Could we implement a PPE fee like restaurants are trying to implement, or other places, like a surcharge? I just want to make sure that you know that if you're in a state, and there are not very many of them, but North Carolina, I believe, is one. I think Maryland is another one. That if there's a state law that does not allow you to charge more than a specific amount, and for no other reason, you can have mileage and you can have your per notarization, and they don't allow you to charge anything else, don't be doing that. Okay, you have to follow your state law first. For the rest of us, if you, in the short run, want to implement an extra fee to cover these costs, you certainly can. I do want you to think about the difference between investing in your business and investing in new processes and tools that help you do a better job versus the long-term benefits and relationships that you are building out there. People, whether or not it makes sense, people hate surcharges. They hate fees. They hate that stuff. And to nickel and dime somebody for an extra $3 or $5 for the short run of basically funding my capital so that I can do business better is not, I think, in my personal business interest. But I'm not saying it's not for you. Some of you may need to have help funding your capital because you're just starting out. So I get it. But I just want you to think carefully about that. And then, are you going to remove the surcharge later? Or are you going to just keep it, as a raise? So just think carefully about doing those things before you implement. That's all I ask.
Great suggestion.
Do we have anything else?
Marcy has her hand up.
Okay.
Good morning. I would like to, I don't know, just share, commiserate, I don't know, in a sense, just address the emotional roller coaster that COVID has been. There have been moments where I have been so petrified by the thought of hurting somebody because I've been exposed and then I inadvertently exposed somebody else, type of thing. And I didn't let it stop me in any way, shape, or form from doing the work, but there has been an aspect where it's just taken a moment where it's taken my breath away. And then there's times where I'm so annoyed by all of this that I just get so like frustrated, you know, like I myself have food allergies. And so if I've eaten anytime near an appointment, I can't breathe in the mask because that it manifests in me like with a breathing issue. And so like one signing the other day, the lady was like, oh, I just don't like it when you sigh about the thing. And it was like, I can't breathe. I'm wearing this stupid mask. You know, it's like, anybody else like having like, you know, like a minute where they just kind of like need a break from this? That's my thing. Anybody want to say something to that?
Marcy, I bet everybody on this call has had that minute. And even though we are adjusting and coping and succeeding at keep moving forward, it doesn't mean we don't have those moments of I've had enough. I just need to step away from this. And some notaries have stopped working, you know, for weeks or days. Some notaries, you know, just have to get away from it all so that they can refresh themselves and, you know, get back out there and keep going. But you are not unique, and our industry is not unique. I think, you know, the healthcare workers, I think everybody who's continued to work and adopt and have to flex their muscles and figure out how do I make this work because, you know, I got to make a living, is going to go through that. Absolutely. And that's on top of if we already have moments before COVID even existed.
Right.
It's not like I'm at the top of my world 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, right? So I'm going to have moments just because my business isn't doing well, or because I had a bad assignment, or because, you know, somebody annoyed me. Those were moments I could already have. Now we add this on top of it, and everybody else is having those moments. All I hope is we don't have the moment at the same time, because that's a terrible thing to be with somebody and they're having a bad moment and you're having a bad moment. That's not a good assignment. So hopefully they're spread out a little bit.
And thank you for that. Thank you for that encouragement. I just, you know, want to put that out there. I do have a question. There's been you guys are so awesome in encouraging us to be the experts in our area. And, you know, and then there's, you know, the executive orders. We need to know what those are for ID extension, or what is it that, you know, the manual says, or, you know, that type of thing. Is there a source that you guys have that notifies you when something is coming down the pike, as opposed to we always have to go searching it out because we heard somewhere somebody said something? Do you guys hear about it first, or have a resource that notifies you when something changes?
You bet. You know what? The NNA has been a great source. They had a screen, their hotline. They had a listing when Ron and Rin and emergency orders for remote notarization came out, and who could do it and who could not, and who extended their driver's licenses and who extended commissions. And they had that for all 50 states, whoever had an emergency order. And they were posting it on their weekly bulletins. It was posted, it's on their website, on their knowledge center. And they have been great at trying to push as much information as they can. Of course, it means we have to read them when we get them in the mail and not, you know, delete them. Because it's not just about sales. There is great information there. And of course, if you are a member and you do call the hotline, you can call not when you're in the middle of an assignment. You can call and say, hey, I'm in this state. Have there been changes? Can I do that? Can I still take them? For instance, California, the extension for driver's licenses is now only good if you're over 70. They get a year. If you're under 70, it's expired. Can't use it.
Yeah,
right?
I was reading for Arizona, the executive order said it's okay up until 6 months after September 1st, if it, you know, but it said as long as it's not able to be renewed online. And so I thought that was interesting, you know, like, so if you're just lazy, that doesn't, like,
exactly.
doesn't excuse you, yeah.
Yeah. And then you've got people like Bill and myself, you know, every week we've got those TNT calls. And as I hear, because of course I'm connected with the NNA, as I hear new things happening, I try to get those out and shared on them. Be careful with the forums. Make sure you check the source. who's saying what, because some people think they know what they're talking about, honestly, but things have changed and they didn't go back to check that change. And so they're
Thank
giving
you.
old information.
You
Thank
can
you for that.
also, I'll interject real too, because you can also on Google, you can set triggers. So when,
Alerts.
like when the Arizona Secretary of State says something about this, it will trigger an email to you. I forget what it's called.
It's Google Alerts.
Google Alert. You can send an alert. So you'll get notified on that. And I also just want to say
those.
something really quick too, because Marcy, I'm really glad you brought up the emotional toll of this too. This is something that we can't skip over, guys. One of my favorite, my business coach tells me, you either feel the emotion now or you're going to feel it later. It always manifests. And I think that when we're in hustle mode and we're trying to work and we're trying to survive and thrive, we kind of push things aside and we just push on through. But we've got to be, you know, I talk about being gentle with others, you know, warming up your communication, to spend a few extra seconds to say something in the beginning, introduce yourself, wish them well this day, whatever it might be, to be a little gentle on others. But we have to be gentle on ourselves too. We got to cut ourselves some slack. And if you need a day where you don't answer your phone, you don't take appointments, whatever, you got to take that time. Sometimes those are a day, sometimes it's just a couple hours, depending on the work and what you've done with yourself. So sometimes it might be a little bit longer, and you've got to give yourself some grace during this time. It's the best piece of advice I can give you right now. Lorraine is our last hand up, and I think we better wrap up. Don't you think, Laura?
We're going to have to wrap up. We got about 3 minutes.
All right, thanks. Lorraine, how's it going?
Thank you. Good. Great. Thanks. I'll try to make these quick. I've never heard of this UV box. If you could maybe give us a little bit more information where to find out about these. And the other thing, I know that you're sweltering in Arizona. Here in Oregon, we're going to have winter coming up shortly. So I'm a little concerned about enclosed signings with windows closed, and can't do it in the garage or out in the patio.
So I do it in their house. We just set up an area and I use my extra PPEs to protect me while I'm with them. And you heard me say that I use the 2 sets of docs.
Right.
If it's a loan signing. Of course, when I do my specialty work, they're usually less than 15-minute appointments. And remember, 15 minutes seems to be the timer if you're going to be with them more than 15 minutes.
Okay. So just the same routine. Yeah.
Well, it's either that or decide that assignment isn't for you.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, tough one.
And the UV box?
UV box, I don't know anything about them.
I don't know anything about it either.
Somebody just...
Guess what? I have one.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I'm going to include a couple other things. Somebody was talking about a neck fan. Once again, there's bad ones and good ones. I bought the bad one. I got the good one. So I'll share that. And I got a bad UV box and I got a good UV box. So I'll put those in the links too.
You guys are going to make me work today. All right.
We'll have
a replay out a little later on. Guys, thank you so much for being here, taking us another Saturday. Laura, thank you so much for having this great idea, bringing us together, talking about things that matter. Really appreciate you, and everyone who's growing themselves and their business and trying to make the world a safer place right now. Thanks. And I'll get this replay out to you soon.
Bye-bye.